And welcome to Racing, Pacing, Chasing, Episode 8, Season 2. I'm Aaron Bain, joined by a new host this week, Tommy Javor. Welcome, Tommy.
Bainey, it's great to be here, mate. Honour and a privilege to join someone so deeply entrenched in the industry, just a mug punter like myself.
I like how you said you watched some of the previous shows and you saw me talents. I didn't know what you were talking about. There's absolutely none. We just talk racing, and that's what we get together and we do each week. But you're stepping in for Claire Lindop this week, and Adelaide sports personality, there's none better to have on than yourself, really, just to join us and talk racing.
Probably some of the viewers wondering if I am Claire Lindop, but no, it's not. It's me, it's Tommy. Look, mate, I can't believe in other segments I've heard you own, what do you own, 48 race horses?
Oh, too many.
I own one, mate, and it's the slowest horse in South Australia.
What's its name?
Serious Journey. Of course, you might remember it from race 2 at the Balaclava Cup when it broke its maiden. Geez, the other horses had a shocker that day. And it was the first...
Got its birthday.
Yes, and when they opened the Murray Bridge races, we were down there. Race 1, the first ever race at the new Murray Bridge racecourse. It will forever be remembered as the horse that finished last in the first race.
Had to be something. You get a trophy for that? It's a bit like finishing last in the footy tips. But anyway, Tommy, tonight we're at the Comfort Inn, Manhattan. Great new sponsor, Choice Hotels Group on board, and a good little facility here that we'll come back to and just scroll around. But Choice Hotels, just an international group, and they've got 7 or 8 of these, little hotels spread around Adelaide. Great to have them on board.
Just down the road from me, mate. I live 5 minutes down the road, and that we do call it the Jewel of the North.
Oh, so you put on the home shorts too. There's plenty of you blokes around that come on and host the show that don't like putting the away shorts on, but including our very own, Rocky Butterworth on sitting above us all. But glad to see you at the home ground again. That's all right. I'll keep travelling. Anyway, but let's just talk briefly. The coronavirus having the impact on the industry. Your take on it?
Yeah, mate, it's scary. It really is scary. I guess the panacea is that we get to a point where racing, and not just racing, but sport, football, everything comes back to what we know it as, because at the moment it's just scary. I mean, I'm isolating at home with the kids. In a racing sense, you'd be across it more than me, but today I got the racing.com message, 2:53, an hour and a half after I signed on, a bit of a jinx. Victoria Racing is currently suspended. So you please tell us more about that, but scary times, mate.
It is scary times, and Rocky and I will go in a bit more depth into how it affects pacing and also racing in general, but probably just from a punter's point of view, and you like having a punt, you say you punt every day. A week's time, there's no footy, there's no lawn bowls to bet on, there's no nothing, there's no racing. What does Tommy do when he's sitting at home himself, when he's with the kids in lockdown?
Well, my girls love horse racing as well. They're 2 and they're 4, and they ride them home, and they give the jockeys some kind words of encouragement like Daddy does. Yeah. But some of the boys have started betting on esports. Who'll be watching the show. You can bet on the weather now. Yes, over-unders, I've heard. Yeah. So I don't know, mate. I just hope and pray.
You're going to be a weather punter?
I wouldn't have thought, mate. Wouldn't have thought. There's only so many things you can get away with. But the great thing about being on this show now is I've convinced the wife I have to watch all racing. So it's a blessing.
It's going to be limited. So that's great. But it's good to have you on. Anyway, we're going to go to a short break. We don't want to dwell on the doom and gloom too much. We want to, we want to come back and bring you some racing news. So let's go to a short break, and we'll be back. Welcome back, and as I said earlier on the show, we're very thankful of Choice Hotels coming on board this year, signed as a major sponsor with the Prince Albert Hotel Gawler of Racing, Pacing, Chasing. And we're here to have a quick look at the Manhattan Suites now as a bit of footage scrolls around, and it is an excellent facility here at the Choice at the Manhattan. We've got the Cooper's Ale House just across the road. We're 5 minutes from Globe Derby. We've got the Velodrome as well. We're only sort of 10-15 minute drive into the city, and very close to home to you as well. So
beautiful, mate. I'll definitely be bringing down the togs next time. Lovely pool out there.
Yeah, well, what we do actually when we talk later and we actually get you to tip one, if you actually get beat, you got to come back and dive in. You got to do it. You got to set up.
I'll be spending a fair bit of time in the pool.
You'll be in the pool. Rocky's still got to drive. No, sorry, it's me that's got to dress up in the alligator suit after Alligator Blood got beat in the All-Star Mile. But we'll get to that in coming weeks. We've actually just put that on hold. Actually, you wouldn't believe, Tommy, with the coronavirus, we couldn't share suits. And I just knew that in a couple of weeks Rocky'd have to be back in it. So we're just going to shelve that one for a while.
And how is the tipping form at the moment?
It's very good. Claire's been on a roll, so you're under a fair bit of pressure this week, and that should lead us into news, brews and barbecues, thanks to Punt Club. Do you know Jason Neave and the use Punt Club app?
No, I don't.
Suggest you get on there.
I think I will be now.
Yeah, you've got to get on there. So you get a team together. If you're tipping pro, if you just tip us into a win or two, we might even let you join our exclusive syndicate. But not much around to bet on. But hopefully we can.
I do actually run a punters club, and it's absolute disgrace. The boys will attest to.
Well, you're out.
You're out. We will. I think we certainly need something to tidy up. We're going to give it a little look for sure.
Jason Neave might like you on board just to collect a few of the extra funds because we sort of clean him out a bit. No, just kidding. Anyway, moving on to news, and in the last 2 weeks we've seen a couple boilovers with Alligator Blood going down in the All-Star Mile, and also we've had Tiaku Shark going down the other day on the weekend. So by Dream Force, trained by John Thompson, beautifully ridden by Nash Willa. But interesting, and your thoughts on those races there?
Mate, something you'll learn about me is I like it rough. I like the roughies. So I wasn't on Dream Force, and I certainly wasn't on Tiaku Shark. But it was a commanding victory by Dream Force. Watched the race, it blew them away really. And Tiaku Shark, when something's $1.90 favourite, you really want it. You don't want it breaking hearts like that.
We had Dreamforce in front who led up, and when it leads up and walks, it's always going to have the speed to dash home. You have Tiaku Shark with Opie Bossum aboard. He was worried about his next flight back to New Zealand being cancelled. He wants to sit 3 and 4 wide. The closer to the fence, the quicker he would have got home. Was a good thing beat, but a very beaten at a short price favourite. Let's take a look at the replays of both rides and maybe make up your own decision.
Force Rawilla comes wide, leads by 2 lengths on Spend. Then came the Bostonian. Tiaku Shark winding up. He dropped Super Seth. Dream Force at the 250, 2 lengths clear from the Bostonian Spend. Then came Tiaku Shark. He really needs to lift the Shark. It's Dream Force in front of the Bostonian, closing in. Dream Force a length and a half the Bostonian. Dream Force just in front from the Bostonian. Dream Force led all the way in the George Rider. Dream Force from the Bostonian. A photo finish for third between Brandon Berg and Tiaku Shark, who was keen.
Anyway, good victory there. Full credit to the winner, Dream Force, and well-deserved victory by John Thompson and Nash Willa there. Moving on to the other news. Moving on to the other news, the Golden Slipper. Did you watch that race on Saturday? Surely it was a...
I actually didn't get to see that one, mate.
You didn't get to see it? Did you ever bet in the Golden Slipper?
No, I did not.
Unbelievable. No. Huey Bowman, he just does it again, and he gives us the sheet apples as he comes back to scale. Victory there saw Gail Waterhouse claim her 7th victory, this being their first victory, obviously in partnership with Adrian Bott, and it was certainly a commanding victory, and this is an impressive colt.
Yeah, Gay, she just finds a way every time, doesn't she? Even from her own lounge room, she still tells us. I had the pleasure of meeting Gay once down at the races, and she's a very interesting woman, and very rich woman apparently.
Yeah, we'll move. No doubt she is, but she'll certainly need all the money she's got to get through the next 6-12 months. But it's touched on the news, the Golden Slipper, and it's always also a barbecue later, which we'll get to. But if we just take a look at the replay and the closing stages here, the winner, Fanan, just goes away for a commanding victory. And, the likes of Hanseatic, who, I had something on, Away Game and Tagiola, they were up there on the speed, but, they were both beaten fair and square on their merits, but a horse like Hanseatic just couldn't get into it, couldn't make ground from behind, and the winner just we just commanded away to a very good victory. Let's take a look at the replay now.
Away Game is in for the fight, the inside. It's 1.5 in front.
So good victory there, and as we said,
another one for Gay Waterhouse.
Gay Waterhouse
and leads all the way from Away Game and Mama Reagan. Home into fourth was
reasonably good ride by Bossy on Away Game as well. Yeah. Big fan of Glenn.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to SA News, and you're all over the SA News, Tommy. It's your bread and butter.
I am, and I've certainly got a few notes on it. So the trainers are keeping their horses in Adelaide now, and it's a necessity, obviously, with the virus, COVID-19. Hoping to bring about a rich autumn carnival. So without the horses and jockeys coming from interstate, a lot of the prize money obviously will be shared amongst our horses, which can only be good for the industry. It gives them a chance to share some of the spoils and get some victories.
Yeah, interesting, and also like Tony and Calvin McAvoy both calling SA home over the autumn carnival, so that's good, and a queue. And let's just hope racing can continue. We've got the clash coming up at G-Tra and also Sunlight in the Goodwood.
You said it correct this week, G-Tra.
Yeah, I didn't on the show last week. I think I called it G-Trash or something.
It's a pain horse, my local footy club. Gary McIntosh and all the boys, Tyson Burrows, Wawa Williams, they love that horse. Yeah. It's done some good things for them.
It's probably like calling their firstborn son the wrong name, isn't it?
So, mate, they love it. Had a couple of runs ago, had a very big win that they were all over it. Some
up
really good odds.
Up the straight in the light, wasn't it? So, but it's good
you
to
really
see.
know your stuff, don't you?
Oh, we're talking enough, but it is it's going to be an exciting clash. So let's hopefully we get through to the Goodwood where we see those two heavyweights go at it. But there's some good 2-year-old races also, and another one, interesting one to talk about, and it'd be interesting to hear your concept or thoughts on it, with the riders being increased their weights by 2 kilos during this time, with saunas out of action, gyms, all that. So it's going to be an interesting one. They're going to have to do a lot of work at their home gyms, these jockeys.
Yeah, look, controversy perhaps, but again, for someone like me who loves the roughie, I reckon it's a chance. Maybe we'll see some interesting results. It'll be interesting to see how the times change, but if there's an extra chance for a roughie to get up, mate, it makes me happy. But the other
Fill
thing,
your pockets.
yeah, oh, mate, that's what I'm all about. I love the sound of the hooves on the track, mate. But I like even more when you press that refresh on the old wind meter. That's probably my favourite part of horse racing. But it's great to see as well this Saturday, 153 nominations across 9 races, some big fields. So that's going to be great for the day as well. Assuming everything goes all right, fingers crossed for the next few days, we can get that.
And hopefully, with the state borders being blocked, we can keep racing. I know there's problems in the state, but let's hope SA can stay clear of that.
Yeah, it includes as well a 2-year-old event, which is great. Obviously, the 2-year-olds have been propped up a fair bit by the Victorian races and riders, but that won't be happening this weekend. So it's going to be a South Australian event, and good for everyone involved.
100%. Hopefully, the owners in SA can get some money. Anyway, moving on, it's time for some brews. We like a brew or two, but this week our brews of the week is the ride on Paul Gap for the Richard and Chantel Jolly train, Poised to Rain. There would have been some celebrations going along into the night here. Gaddy had to wait about the 150 before the run finally came, and got really no more to say on it. Let's just take a look at his clinical expedition. 200 from home to the winning post when he gets the gap and just commands away.
Ruby's Reward, Sunrise Dancer, the Publican. Ruby's Reward finding from Sunrise Dancer. The Publicans joining in late. The Publicans after Ruby's Reward, and Poised to Rain darting through. Poised to Rain and the Publican. Poised to Rain maybe from the Publican. Sunrise Dancer got over the top of a tiring Ruby's Reward to take.
Great ride there by Gaddy, and he is certainly a patient rider, but a very good rider on that board. You're going to get every chance when you have him on board.
Timing is everything, as my wife always tells me, and he just timed it perfectly, mate. And found the hole.
Keep it PG rated. It's on. This goes to air at all times on Facebook. All right, Tommy?
Yeah. Well done, Gaddy.
Anyway, time for a barbecue this week. I'm going to unleash. It's time for a barbecue, and I'm going to unleash this time on Channel 7. I love Channel 7. Spring Carnival, I was devastated when Channel 10 took it on last year. But Channel 7, what? Seriously, you advertise the day, the Golden Slipper Day, as Adrian Bott's Day in the Sun, and all you want to talk about when it's won, you want to flash straight to Gay Waterhouse's lounge room, showing her or have her on the phone, which you couldn't even hear the interview with her on Channel 7, and you wanted to pep it up like Gay Waterhouse 7th Slipper. Supposed to be at Adrian Bott's Day, leave it as Adrian Bott's Day. Gay Waterhouse purposely stayed at home because she wanted nothing, yes, she wanted something to do with the day, but she didn't want to take the limelight off the job that he's been doing with this horse for Nan down in the Sydney stable. Sorry.
I'd love you to read the last line of our notes. I reckon they're pretty good.
What do we got here? What's Rocky set us up with? Says here, and then almost immediately across the Gay's lounge room with her family before finding Adrian. Might be harsh, but don't promote something then cross to a waiting camera and back to Adrian after
the Gay Fest.
What was?
Too much gay for me. As I said, interesting lady, but yeah.
Nah, full credit to him, but Channel 7, don't promote something and then cross, wherever you like. Anyway, enough on the barbecues. It's time to find a winner. This is where, Tommy, you just step up and say, Claire, you know nothing. You got nothing on me as a punter, and I know where to find the runners. But before we get into that, we must thank our sponsor of the 3 Wide No Cover. It's time for that. And we talk about Steve McInerney and the team at MJ Insurance Brokers. Great team, as I say. And I was walking down the main street of Gawler today, saw them. They got a shop in Gawler. I didn't realise they were everywhere, Steve. So it's great to have him on board. Tommy, you've found one here. Recent Gawler Cup winner.
Yeah, Boris and Ossery, a good winner of race 9 at huge odds.
Huge odds, you're on, surely. You talk about the big price ones.
Yes, and again, a clever ride by Sophie Logan. I love Soph. I've got to meet Soph a few times through my horse, and loves to punch out a durry pre and post race. And
is that where you two got to meet?
I'm clean these days, but Soph always gives you a bit of time as well. So look, great to see Soph hit form there. I think she's still an apprentice.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
I probably shouldn't do questions without notice.
No, but thanks, mate. Yeah, no, I'm not, but we'll go with it. Yep, Soph, yep.
Did great things there. So well done to Boris of Ossery, and a really good win. But the dichotomy of jockey life.
Go on, pronounce this now.
Okay, here we go. Akatsuki Tomita.
Yeah, very good.
How was that? Not too bad. Look, he probably a ride he wanted to get. Feeling the pressure. He got a bit too far back. Was a little unbalanced, it's fair to say. And then he was whipping it real hard in the straight, probably a little too much. And look, Happy Feet was the horse he was on. Probably could still be followed.
Happy Street.
Happy Street. So there's that dyslexia kicking in. Certainly a horse with
Don't want
perhaps
to tip
some
punters into
potential.
the wrong one, mate, when they back Happy Feet and they say Tommy told us on RPC episode 8, season 2, they'll be after us. So we've just got to clarify that.
Happy Street. And I'm not sure if Suki Tamita will get another go, but I think it's a horse that could certainly...
Might be like Leon McDonald and have 6 riders in 8 starts. But anyway, our 3 wide no cover for this week is none other than, and I'll tell you what, this trainer has had a few in this segment of late, and that's Gordon Richards trains Roselli Sting. Settled 3 back in a very slowly run race and had to come very wide in its run and power to the line. Let's take a look at the replay here, but with a bit more pace on Roselli Sting, it's ready to win. Let's take a look at the closing stages.
Still from Boris and Ossery. Boris is laying up to Carzabilly. Happy Street's trying to join in. Then wider out Roselli String. It's Boris and Ossery going to Carzabilly. Happy Street, Roselli Sting, Boris. Boris and Ossery. From Happy Street, Roselli Sting, they overhauled Carzabilly and Francis Boy down on the rail.
Anyway, it's time now for our favourite segment. In the pacing segment, we have Leroy the Lizard. In the racing segment, we have Barry the Barfly. You met Barry?
I haven't met Barry. I'm trying to curtail my excitement.
Barry. Now, Barry stressed to all you viewers on the show last week, do not let Loving Gabby go around in the William Reid at $5 without having your $5 on. I was actually out for dinner and I said, sorry, I've got to have something on. Right, Barry he'll ridicule me if he knows that I wasn't on. You know what?
How much are you on?
We talked $5. Talk about Jason Neves.
Yep.
Jason Neves, we talked Loving Gabby. About time she broke through for that group, her second Group 1. She'd run second in 3 others. Jason Neves Punt Club was riding down the main street of Gawler on his push bike because that's all he had left.
Hitting Struggletown?
Barry spotted him out the window and said, "G'day, Jace. Sorry, mate." He said, I'll pay for your cab ride back when you get too far down and you get a flat tyre because you're riding your bike on 3-year-old rims. Seriously, Barry took him to the cleaners and so should have everyone at RPC. He told you once, don't make him tell you again. He's found one again this week. He said he stuck with the Surly train runner. We spoke about it on the show last week. Anyway, Barry said he's found one this week. He told you, Loving Gabby. He said this one here. We've spoke about it weeks on the show.
How's the name on it as
Wings
well?
of Pastrami.
Wings of Pastrami.
Now, this is trained by the Better Cell. Okay, now we haven't been fortunate enough to have this one on the show yet, and we talk about Jeffrey, but Gary has been on the show and claimed to fame as Mr. Gawler, and he's really the king of the North, and da-da-da-da-da.
The king of the North, not him too.
This was an excellent second first up at the Valley, and Barry assured us the jockey instruction was wrong. He reckons Gary might have given the instructions from the front brother Criterion, where he shouldn't have been drinking. He should have been at the Prince Albert Gawler. He was supposed to settle back and run home nicely, but the horse, it still finished off well. Wings of Pastrami. Don't let it go around again without being on, Barry says. Let's take a look at the replay
Strongly
here.
Wings of Pastrami. Overkill's holding them at bay with 50 metres left to run. Overkill goes go to woe. Wins it from Wings of Pastrami. Hayington Station Star Selection in a photo for third behind
Anyway, Barry, he doesn't often get it wrong, so stick with him, I tell you. All right?
Last one.
Trust me, Let It Ride. It's time for Let It Ride, and thanks to our terrific partner, Garrard's Horse and Hound. They cover all 3 codes. They'd be a bit nervous about the times ahead, but they've still got time to support this show and bring you a winner. Let It Ride. What have you found?
Perfect route. Mick Huxtable won 3 in a row after running second in Murray.
I told you to keep it PG rated, mate.
What did I do?
Perfect route.
Perfect route. Jeez, thought we were going to have to do an outtake there. Mickey Huxtable won 3 in a row after running second in Murraybridge Maiden first up. Don't be like me. Don't be that punter that think the winning has to stop. He can go again. He can win. He places horses perfectly. Perfect route. Will continue to improve.
Perfect route. Anyway.
Route? We go route?
Yeah, your horse has run, it's won a maiden at Murraybridge. This thing's only run second. So really, what's your name of your horse again?
Serious Journey. It's
Serious
currently
Journey.
on the world.
So
How long can a horse be spelled for? It is on the longest paddock duty ever.
I think it might not be around anymore, but anyway, Serious Journey. It might be having a seriously long journey. But,
the track's too rough for it.
The track's too rough. We're coming into winter. Get it ready. Get it back in work.
No, but it won its maiden at Balaclava, a nice soft track. But apparently the new Murraybridge track, it's got delicate hooves.
Oh wow. Moving on. Anyway, there's another one. Ethical Solution, ridden by Jake Toroke. Also won very well, beating the odds-on favourite Beauty in its race. So Let It Ride, Perfect Route, and Beauty. We're going to ride them both.
And big shout out to Jake. He's the only one that's ever managed to get my donkey up. So thank you, Jake. I still love you, brother.
How much percentage do you own of this donkey?
2.
2%. We're sorry to the other 98% of the owners out that we've offended tonight by calling it a donkey. Anyway, We must thank the Gawler Barossa Jockey Club, the Prince Albert Hotel, and none other than Choice Hotels here at the Manhattan, specifically where we are tonight. We've caused absolute commotion with the smack we've been talking here, but Tommy, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for filling in at late notice when Claire said can't make it. You know.
Thank you, mate. I've learned a lot tonight. Bless you.
Yeah.
In all the segments, and I'm actually going to get on all of these tonight and make sure that I lead by example, 2 each way, and get the job done.
2 each way, you won't go wrong, and Barry will be you'll be shouting Barry at the front bar of the Prince Albert Hotel Gawler next time. Anyway, thanks team. Thank you for joining us tonight again, Tommy. It's been a pleasure. Hang around for the pacing segment up next. No chasing segment this week. Benny Rawlings was supposed to join us. He rang up last minute. He said with all that's going on in the world, he's been told he has to remain at home in handcuffs. So, Benny, get out of those handcuffs and we'll see you back here as soon as we can. Thanks for joining us, and let's try and find your winner in this time of need for the industry.